everyone, happy Tutorial Tuesday. This is the very first tutorial of February. I am talking about how to access your breath. I will just read to you from my focus for this week. This blog actually talks about what my focus is for each individual week of this month. I love clarity, I love structure, especially when, like this year for 2020, I am on a journey to vocal growth, which I want you to join with me. It's not too late to hop on the vocal growth train. Every journey is like more productive and effective when you're not doing it alone. If you actually want growth, you have to unite with someone. So join forces with me and let's do this together. Before I get started on how to access your breath, I want to reflect on January, which was about alignment for singing, meaning that you do need to find that posture and alignment within your body, your structural frame that allows for the expansion of your lungs. So rib cage expansion. I identified some different ways of thinking that people have talked about. The best way to get the right posture for singing, but everyone is different. So my focus is on the curve of the back, actually. You do need some elevation ability of your sternum, but the most important thing, and even the reason for an elevation of your sternum, is for ribcage expansion, which happens when your lungs expand and become full of air. So line up the curve of your back in such a way that you can feel low belly expansion first. Chest expansion should happen last. So, with that being said, there is something else I want to say, but maybe I'll say it later. With that being said, I'm going to read to you from my blog about week 1, which is today, which is this week, on the topic of breath. So week 1, we are focusing on accessing your breath. So if you have trouble accessing your breath, you may need to check your alignment. So the curve of your back, like I said, you should feel on an inhale your lower belly expanding first. You'll feel it like a vacuum. So like first things first. The best way that I learned to access my breath is get rid of all of my breath. So like just exhale as long, as hard as you can. Naturally, you become a vacuum. When you run out of air, you have to fill it back up. So do it again with me. Naturally, your chest will elevate at the end of that inhale when you become a vacuum. So you'll feel that like almost like a desperate act of breathing in. Like, let's say you're underwater and you run out of breath, so you come back up to the top of the water to catch your breath, and you'll feel the filling up from the lower belly to the upper, your lower lungs filling first and all the way to the top. And you'll feel all of the fillings where they should be sensed. Reading on, access your breath. Okay, gain a sense of connection to your breath within your body. You want to obtain the feeling of breath as your anchor or your support system, the connection to your body as it supports you when you speak or sing. So here's the next exercise. You have gained the sense of your accessing your breath, You have access to your breath now as you, like the desperate act of catching your breath and breathing in on an inhale. When you run out of air, now we're going to feel the connection sensation, which will transfer to your sense of stability or support when we speak. So, what we're going to do, check your alignment for ribcage expansion. Make sure that on the inhale you feel the filling up of air from the bottom up, and then we're going to speak. I'm just going to say letters of the alphabet. Another thing I learned recently on someone else's video was this: placing two hands on your chest and pressing. So we're going to inhale, but we're going to press as we inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to speak a sentence, and I'm going to say letters of the alphabet. But do not allow the sternum to fall. Do not allow your chest to collapse at all. And you have to say, let's just all say all 26 letters, and you can't breathe can't inhale until you say all of them, and you cannot collapse in the chest as you speak. You have to say all of them, all the letters. Okay, so here's our inhale. Ready? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. I had the temptation to let my chest collapse, but I didn't. I corrected myself. So you probably felt your abdominal muscles tightening, your core tightening to support you as you are exhaling on this sentence. Let's do it again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. I feel pretty good. All right, I'm going to read on. We're going to take it to the next level, but we're going to keep the same exercise. The next step, I usually use imagery in private lessons to help singers find the sense of anchoring, support, and stability. Pick whichever of those three words works for you: anchoring, support, stability. The image I usually use, which we're going to use now, is you are a tree. I am a tree, and my feet are my roots. Imagine rooting your feet into the ground where you are standing, or I'm sitting. I can still imagine this. My feet are my roots. Maybe I'm a bonsai tree. They're kind of like twisty and sideways and such. As you breathe, you should have a sense of awareness through your feet and legs and pelvic floor, meaning your muscles that are engaged in a cough or sneeze, even as you are producing speech or song. So we are going to continue with 26 letters in the alphabet as our speech. Okay, that's my sentence. We're going to imagine that we are trees and that our feet are rooted into the ground. We're going to do the same inhale, exhale, and don't let your chest collapse. Here we are. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. One more time. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. I'm feeling even a sense of confidence as I imagine that I'm planted. A confident person can't get pushed around. So even in voice lessons, sometimes I would have a voice teacher tell me, okay, stand like you're ready to sing. It did not work for me. And they would just kind of like push on my shoulder a little bit to see if I had balance, which is important. Balance comes with being firmly planted, or in this case, firmly planted and rooted into the ground where you are. But for some reason, back in those days, that just didn't work for me when that was all they would say. But now, when I'm teaching and I tell students to connect as though, like, imagine they're the tree that we're pretending to be right now, it actually seems to transfer really well. So I hope it transfers with you. And it's working for me right now. Even I have this sense of confidence that I didn't have maybe like 6 years ago, being planted. So yeah, and I'm able, because of that, I was able to feel the abdominal tightening, not letting my chest collapse as I exhale, speaking on a sentence. So that's just cool that the sense of confidence can come with that imagery. So that is what it feels like to use breath support and feel anchored and stable. Maybe for Warm Up Wednesday, I'll include another exercise just to build on top of this one. So this is accessing our breath and transferring that breath access to the sense of stability and support. Let me know if you have any questions. I will leave you with one final thought to encourage you with. This 2020 year is a journey of vocal growth. We don't want to be limited in the thinking of, especially if you're a singer of popular music or a worship leader, with using easy congregational songs where classical techniques maybe aren't required to sing in certain ways of sustaining long phrases or notes, or whatever you may have in your music that it's easy. You have easy songs to sing, and it's for the sake of the body of Christ to be able to participate together in congregational singing. And so because of that fact, it's really common, I'm finding, even for myself, I'm coming from this way of thinking, just changing our way of thinking a little bit. The limit of just wanting to sing healthy, like sing these great worship songs or beautiful, simple songs, and just trying to sing them with a healthy voice. Only aiming for that goal may cause you to not even reach that goal and be okay with it. Like you have an excuse, like, oh, like I wanted to sing that note in my head voice, but I even though I chested it, it's okay. No, you're giving yourself excuses to not sing healthfully. So I want you to join me on this 2020 journey, which I am on, and I think it'll be good for you too, is focus on vocal growth, and along that path is vocal health. You cannot grow vocally without healthy habits. So you are guaranteed to have vocal health on the journey to vocal growth. So you actually need to set these things in place and not give yourself any more excuses to not sing healthfully, or incorporate whatever healthy habits that you are trying to incorporate in your singing. So join with me 2020. This week we are focusing on breath, and this week we are focusing on accessing our breath. And next week we will be learning how to take that access to our breath, transferring it, and how to use that breath in sustaining support, supported notes and things like that. So that is for next week, but all of February is about our breath. So how to access it, how to use it, how to feel the sense of stability and support that comes with accessing our breath. So happy Tutorial Tuesday, and I hope that you take this to heart and put it into practice.